How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Wolf, and welcome to one of many new variety pieces. Recently, I have been playing a lot of Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning, and when I pick up new games, I look online to see most of the combat styles and this sort of thing that I like to play. Personally, I enjoy playing archers recently, and so when I looked online to try and find a pure archer build, there was literally nothing. There was no gameplay, there was no build, there was nothing for me to go off of. So I figured that I will play through the game as a pure archer, and then make the guide myself for anyone who is looking for this type of content or looking for this sort of thing. I generally play archers across most games, so if you want to see that sort of perspective from other games as well, do feel free to subscribe. But with that being said, this is going to be the build guide. There's also going to be in a little bit anyways, there's going to be about 20 minutes or so of just raw archery gameplay that you guys can enjoy if you want to see how this functions in normal gameplay. Otherwise, I'm going to give you the build guide, and then I will give you some clips from the last time that I played Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning, so I can give you sort of a basic feel of how the game plays and operates. So, with that being said, we are level 28 on this build. The maximum level was 40 before Re-Reckoning came out. I haven't made it to the end yet, obviously. I think it's been up to maybe 45 with the new DLC. I'm not entirely sure. I will let you know as I get there, but this is a sort of halfway through the game, able to take on pretty much anything that gets thrown at it, and we're just looking to improve it from here. So with that being said, let me run over some of the basics of archery for you in this game. So with our bow, we have it on one of our two buttons here, and it has a few different options for attacks. We have our default shot, and you'll see in the top left there's your quiver that'll slowly go down. That is our arrows. We don't have to go picking them up or anything like that. They will slowly regenerate over time. So if I don't do anything, the arrows will come back. So a lot of our strategy for a pure archer build is going to be to shoot and then to roll away by pressing our B button on my controller or whatever you've got it bound to on your keyboard or what have you. And that's going to be a lot of our strategy. Now with a bow, if you hold down the shot, you'll get a charged shot. Now the thing about the charged shot is it can be augmented to do a couple of different things. Normally, the charged shot will be a singular arrow, and a charged shot will guaranteed apply any effects you have on your weapon. So see how my weapon is glowing with poison? That means that if I do a charged shot and I hit them with it, they will guaranteed be afflicted with poison. It would then be guaranteed afflicted with burning or ice or what have you if your bow has that augment on it. So you can use that to create, a frost archer build or that sort of thing if you really wanted to. Generally, you want to stick to poison and bleed because that's the way the rogue tree works. And as you can see, my charged shot is upgraded to do a split shotgun. I'll explain that to you in just a bit. And then the final attack for the bow is a good old rain of arrows that will drop at the target's location and do 3 hits if you're able to hit them with the entire thing. So that is the defaults of our bow. So let's get in here and take a look at some of the other stuff, some of my gear, as well as some of the abilities and whatnot. So this is going to be our skill tree. This is the finalized skill tree, and for those of you who are going to be new to me or this channel, I metagame like a motherfucker, and my entire plan is to break everything. That's why you can see everything with 8 out of 6 or, 7 out of 5, that sort of thing. So the reason behind that is if I go to my gear and I go to my accessories, you'll see I have a necklace with +1 to finesse abilities, and I have another piece of gear, I think it's one of my armors, that gives me +1 to finesse abilities as well somewhere here. Actually no, it's my shield, I think. Is it at the bottom here? Yeah, +1 to finesse abilities for my shield, and then I have +1 to finesse abilities as well for my necklace. Now if you go back and look at the abilities here, you'll see that there is no next level here, whereas with other stuff you can see there's a next level. If I use my mouse I can show you. You'll see that there's the next level thing here, but there's text for this one, there's no text for this one on next level. That means there is no higher level for you to go to with this. So excuse me. So that means that you can over-level certain skills, like my longbow mastery and draw power and this sort of thing can be over-leveled by 2, whereas Aerostorm only has 1 extra level that you can over-level with gear. So you're going to want to make sure you're running around with +2 to finesse gear at pretty much any point. The way to deal with that is a necklace and a shield with both of those, because we're not going to be blocking all that often. So yeah, we got the +1 to finesse abilities there, and we have the +1 to finesse on the shield as well. So it's going to give us the extra points, and that is insane amounts of damage because everything in here gets +1 to it. So one item gives you, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 skill points off of one item, and it'll be doubled with the second one, which would be what, 36, some shit like that. So you get the point. So yeah, pick those up if you come across them. They are random drops from a lot of things. You might be able to metagame a specific drop if you look one up, but it doesn't really matter. It's also, for reference, I'm playing on very hard, which is why I'm doing all of the sort of metagaming and all that stuff. So my game is exceptionally difficult, and I love it. So, with that being said, let's get into the basics of it. When you're first starting out at a very low level, you want to put all your points into longbow mastery, which is going to give you your flat damage. Then you want to go into draw power, which will give you even more flat damage, and try and get Aerostorm as fast as possible. Aerostorm will be locked away from you for a little bit, but just pick up Envenomed Edge. And you can also use Frost Trap if you like, because this is a sort of trapper ranger type of setup. What Frost Trap does is it'll put a trap on the ground right here, and then anything that walks over it'll get stunned. It's both good and shit at the same time. If you put it in a choke point, it'll be really good for you, but you gotta kind of walk NPCs into it. A lot of the AI is really kind of retarded, so you can adapt their pathing just by standing in the right spots, just to make them walk through your Frost Traps and whatnot. So I didn't use that to start, I just went full into flat damage, but that will add a lot more, utility as well as just thinking to the build, because otherwise you just sat there kind of mashing Y all the time. So you'll need to add in something to keep you a little bit more engaged. So Frost Trap and adjusting them over the traps will definitely help with that. Envenomed Edge is going to be a sustained flat damage, 15% chance per hit to deal 80 poison damage over 5 seconds. I don't know specifically, but I have Scatter Shot here, which does multiple arrows. You can shotgun them and hit someone with all 8 if you do it point blank. I don't know if that has a 15% chance per arrow or not, but if it does, then, well, Merry Christmas, I guess. And then afterwards, we have poison resistance, so 70% poison resistance, very nice for us. Icy Explosion makes the Frost Trap stun, as well as deal additional damage, and then I have Lunge as well, which is another ability. It's going to give us a quick dash, and then it'll come up behind someone and smack them. So if you're in the midst of a charge, and they're about to just screw you, you can cancel the charge with the Lunge. Or if you are hitting one of the archers or the ranged units or the rogues that keep dodging your hits over and over, so like you'll go to fire, they'll dodge, you can hit them with the Lunge, it'll smack them in the back, and then you can charge a shot point blank. And then that'll let you kill them, because otherwise they'll just sit there and dodge your arrows the whole time. And then the Shadow Flare and Assassin's Arts are dump points, because you just need to put stuff in there to unlock some of the later tree. So with that, we have Enduring Agony, which increases bleeding and poison effects by 100%, which is absolutely mental, which is why we want to fill this out, because bleeding and poison happens quite a bit, because obviously you're going to be poisoning with Envenomed Edge, plus any poisoned enchanted bow you're using. And your arrow rain will also, if charged, it'll drop down the poison effect as well on the arrows. You see the poison dropping all right there. So anything in the AoE there will also be poisoned, which is very good combined with our poison and bleeding damage here, right? Simple enough. Now, moving up here, we'll get Mysterious Toxin, which is a 70% chance to trigger Poison Cloud when an enemy dies. Poison Cloud deals 300 damage. I've had these things surprise me after I've killed everything and scare the shit out of me, so do be wary of that. But that poison damage will also have a chance to proc, you know, your poisons and afflict poison. And then that's a 300 damage Poison Cloud that has 100% increased poison effects. You know, you can see where we're going here. It gets more fun because then you get barbed arrows, which is each arrow has a 20% chance to cause 150 bleeding damage over 5 seconds. Gets better because Scattershot, the next unlock we get, obviously like I said, 8 arrows and a shotgun. So when we unlock that, it will Allow you to fire multiple arrows simultaneously and increase the size of your quiver. And increased levels will increase your damage of scatter shot. So, like I said, every arrow has a 20% chance to bleed and a 15% chance to afflict poison. Yeah. So you can see how this is starting to come together now. And then as we get up a little higher, we'll have paralytic poisons, which is a 10% chance to stun a poisoned enemy for 5 seconds. Which is mental, because obviously we're doing, you know, poison here, poison on the bow, poison on the explosion, yada yada yada. You get the kind of gist of it. So you got your baked in CC right there, and then we have execution for each hit against a bleeding enemy. It's a 16% chance to do 220 bonus damage, which makes shotgunning stupidly effective because you get a long range charge, right? You hit them with that, they start bleeding and being poisoned. You get in really close, and you hit them with a close range charge, and then execution procs on each arrow, and they disappear. It's kind of funny when you watch it happen to a boss or a troll or something like that, something slow moving where you can get in its face and just dumpster it. It's hilarious. And then we have the most fun ability in the game that I've found is Gambit, which is going to disperse traps across the field for a mana cost. This actually changed my entire plan around how I was going to play the build. Originally I was just going to be a pure archer and that was that. And then I unlocked Gambit, which if we charge, we'll take some of our mana and distribute upwards of, what, 18 traps on the battlefield right in front of you? So each one of these that an enemy sets off is going to launch them in the air and do like 200 damage. Now keep in mind they can chain through these, so if they come at you like this, they hit this, get knocked up, hit this one, get knocked up, hit this one, get knocked up, hit this one, land in front of you. I've seen the chain happen before, and it is fucking hilarious to watch this thing just ping pong around and then hit your frost trap and kill itself. It is beautiful. But that gives you so much space control, so any enemy that wants to like get in your face, you can just sort of shut them down pretty much immediately. Hey crap, how you doing? But you can shut them down pretty easily. You don't have to charge it either, you can just tap it and it'll also throw you back. So that creates a nice bit of space for you, and then obviously you can use your bow behind it, or you can put down a rain of arrows. The rain of arrows will auto-lock as well, you can't really control where it goes. So that will automatically lock onto wherever your target is and try and drop it at their location. So you want to try and open with it as opposed to use it in actual combat. It's not as effective. But that is my setup so far for abilities wise. And then we, what's it under? Skills? Yeah. This is the skill setup I'm running right now. I have max persuasion because it really helps with any sort of RPG. I always go for the persuasion options. I have the extra point in here from an item, I think, so I only have up to here socketed, but this will give you all of the bonuses. Then I have lockpicking, so I can just auto-force the lockpicks. Make sure to get Dispelling 4 to remove dark sigils so you don't fucking kill yourself. Disarm traps for Detect Hidden is really good, and Secret Doors being displayed as well is really good at Detect Hidden 5. And then the way I'm playing, I'm using Sagecraft instead of Blacksmithing because Blacksmithing in this game is fucking cheating. If you use Blacksmithing, shame upon you and your family. Because this thing, if you use Smithing in this game, it's not even a fucking game anymore. You're a walking god. So I, as a result, have only been using items that I picked up in a way to actually keep it interesting. So just to go over my gear for you, and then I will probably round it out. Actually, it went a little longer than I expected, so there is going to be a clips video as well as a 20 minutes of gameplay video, so do keep your eyes out for those. I will give you my gear and then we shall round it off. So I have my daggers here. Now the thing is with this character, I'm never using my daggers, like they're on my back, but I'll basically never press my dagger attack button. You could put a second bow here if you really wanted to, like I just don't feel like doing that. But the reason I have these equipped and I'm not changing them is 10% chance to crit and 10% critical hit damage. And then that is my current bow with poison damage and poison damage over 7 seconds. I found this in a merchant for like a couple 100,000 and I was like, yeah, I need that. So this being sat on me is just a stat stick. Also, fun thing you can do, if you attack with your daggers, you notice how your bow disappears off your back. And if you attack with your bow, daggers are gone forever, right? Cool thing you can do to make your character look cooler is if you re-equip your daggers, or if you re-equip everything actually, you unequip and then re-equip your weapons. For whatever reason, with a bow and daggers, it'll put both of them on, and then if you only use your bow from here forward and never tap your dagger button, you'll always have daggers on your hips, so your character looks a little bit cooler. That's a very old trick from when the game first came out that you can use to make things a little more interesting. So with that, let's get into my gear. Meet the helmet. I'm never changing for the rest of the fucking game because I found this at like level 12, and I don't think I'm ever gonna get anything that beats plus 30% flat damage and 8% crit chance. Like, I got this randomly as a random drop. No, this is from a merchant. And yeah, I haven't been able to take it off since because nothing beats 30% flat damage and 8% crit chance. Pretty much end of story. And then the rest of my gear is mana regen with whatever else I can slot into it. Just kind of throwing together shit. I have a 2 set for crit chance here. I don't really have an end game like gear setup plan. I'm just kind of throwing together what I've got. But it's mostly crit damage and crit chance gear. I was at one point where I had, what, 49% crit chance, and I was pretty much dumpstering everything just through my gems and my gear and whatnot. So, I mean, these gloves and the daggers that I have stat sticking right now, I have 20% crit chance. I have 28% crit chance with the helmet. Most of these gems normally also have crit chance in them, but they don't at the moment. Because I had to replace them, and I didn't feel like going and redoing my build and all that stuff to pull out all the gems. But then this has flat damage with range and the +1 to finesse. And then these are crit chance with ranged, so I was at what, 28? I'm at 38% crit chance with ranged. And then I have a 14% experience bonus ring, because I've been trying to level up more, but I would be at 38. This would be 43% crit chance. And so, yeah, you can assume that I'm just going to shit on absolutely everything. Consumables wise, I just use minor healings or greater health regen potion because obviously I don't have a shit ton of health, so if I get hit, I'm going to fall over very quickly. I can take maybe 1 or 2 hits, but I play at a decent range whilst utilizing Gambit and Frost Trap if I need to. Or I can even use Envenomed Edge if I need a bit of a panic button, or Lunge can also get me out of the fray. They give you a little bit of direction for where I'm going next before I end this off. I'm picking up conservative casting for all casting costs reduced by 10%. This is going to go up to 50%, which is going to make it so my Gambit doesn't take my entire fucking mana bar to throw out a charged version of the spell. So I can throw out more traps and play around with that. So we're getting that to start. Then I considered getting either the summon or the sphere, but I'm not entirely sure on that. I might get the sphere. It might look too retarded and I might not want to use it, so not sure yet. And then otherwise, I will try and get Battle Frenzy, which will give you 10% damage for your first kill, 20% damage for your second kill, and this buff lasts for 10 seconds, and each kill will reset the duration. This is also another sustained effect. So that's probably what I'm going to try and get with my next 12 levels. Whether I can get to 35 points depends on if the game goes to 40 or 45. I don't currently know. But yeah, with that being said, that is my archery build guide for Kingdoms of Amalur. And I hope you guys enjoyed, took something from it, and maybe I convinced you to run an archer the next time you play your way through. With that being said, do take a look at the 20 minutes of pure archery gameplay you're going to be getting, as well as some of my early days clips when I put together that montage. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next one. Take care.